Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 27, 2023. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the township website.
Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Here.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Here.
Councilman Menachino. Councilwoman Travers.
Here.
Vice President Zapsik.
Here.
President DeYoung.
Here. Everybody please rise for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, please accept the reports from the municipal officers to file.
Yep.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the June 27th meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Abstain.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
We have a presentation this evening. I'd like to invite our Eagle Scouts, Jack Pristus and Henry Rogacki from Troop 39 to come on down and invite the Mayor and Councilwoman Travers. So tonight we are honoring two boys from Troop 39 who are achieving the highest rank in Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scout. Other notable Eagle Scouts include Bill Gates, Gerald Ford, and Neil Armstrong, making this a pretty impressive group to be a part of. And I would like to congratulate you both and invite you both to speak about your projects. We have Jack Pristus and Henry L. Rogacki IV. Congratulations. Let's talk about your project. Yeah?
All right. So my project was a blessing box. So it's a 2x2 food pantry that is in front of the Brick Township Church, and people that are in need can go in there and get necessities for hygiene and food. So if you're ever in the area, just to right in front of the Ivy Hall, that's what we call it, and you just stop by and donate food to it. Thank you.
My project was an 8-foot-tall kiosk that commemorates all the veterans buried in the First Baptist Church of Royalton Cemetery. It's engraved in a piece of wood that's double-sided, and it's in the back of the church.
Let's get a picture. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Here, we'll get a picture. Let's go next. Move over here. Oh, wait, hold on. This is very weird. We're attached. Let's go this way.
Not usually like that.
You can flip it around.
I can just turn it around, but not too far.
Our second presentation this evening was not able to attend and will be rescheduled for hopefully one of the meetings in August. So I'm going to move on to the consent agenda.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Very good. Resolution 4-1.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159 American Rescue Plan Act.
This resolution authorizes the insertion of a grant in the amount of $47,882 for Brick Senior Services Congregate Nutrition Program. This funding is being provided by the Ocean County Office of Senior Services and will be used to enhance the Community Cafe program. Thanks to this grant, once a month, the Senior Services staff will offer a hot meal at the Brick Housing Authority, where they'll also be able to do outreach services to those that are there. 4-2.
Authorize insertion of Chapter 159 Community Development Block Grant.
Councilwoman Travers.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the insertion of a grant in the amount of $309,179 from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Office of Community Planning and Development for the 2023 Community Development Block Grant. In this grant, the township receives funds for home improvements to income-qualified senior citizens and also awards grant funds to nonprofit organizations that serve the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-3.
Authorize cancellation of outstanding checks municipal court bail account.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution authorizes the cancellation of outstanding checks in the amount of $105 in the municipal court bail account. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-4.
Authorize receipt of bids snow removal services.
Councilwoman Travers.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for snow removal services. The current 3-year contract expires on November 10th of this year. To date, the township has encumbered approximately $657,000 under the current 3-year contract. There are 8 categories in the bid to ensure the proper equipment is available to take care of the township's snow removal needs are met. Thank you.
Resolution 4-5.
Authorize award of contract Nixle 360 Maintenance and Support Services.
Council Vice President Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes an award of contract in the amount of $10,609 with Everbridge of Pasadena, California, to provide maintenance and support of Nixle 360, the communication system used by the police department to text or email out safety alerts and other important timely messages. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-6.
Authorize award of contract dispatch radio console equipment upgrade.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes an award of contract in the amount of $171,611.30 to PMC Associates of Hazlitt for an upgrade to the police department's dispatch radio console equipment. This purchase is being processed through a New Jersey state contract vendor. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-7.
Authorize award of contract through Hunterdon County Educational Services Commission Cooperative Satellite Receiver at Route 35.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes an award of contract in the amount of $145,099.11 with PMC Associates, Hazlitt, for satellite receiver needed for the infrastructure located on the Barrier Island for Central Communications. This purchase is being processed through Hunterdon County Educational Services Commission Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Thank you. 4-8.
Authorize 2023-2024 plenary retail consumption liquor license renewal, JSM at Brick 4 LLC.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you again, Council President. This resolution authorizes the plenary retail consumption liquor license renewal at JSM at Brick. This license is being renewed pending a location, which is specified as a family-style restaurant with a varied menu that seats 125 people. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-9.
Authorize place-to-place transfer of plenary retail distribution license, Bricks NJ License LLC.
Council Vice President Zapsik.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a place-to-place transfer of the plenary retail distribution license issued to VRX LLC for the Bricksmore Shopping Center on Route 88. Thank you.
Thank you. 4-10.
Authorize special events permit Beach to Bay 5K.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you again, Council President. This resolution authorizes a special events permit for Beach to Bay 5K scheduled from 7 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. on October 14th, 2023. The event starts and finishes at Brick Beach 3.
4-11. Mrs. Bergen.
Thank you. Bond release reductions. There's a cash performance bond release for Block 382.31, Lots 6 and 7, in the amount of $4,680.
Very good. That'll end our consent agenda. Can I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on these resolutions only. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
I vote yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. We're going to now open to 412, Bill Resolution Computer 2023.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amount of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $1,305,234.10.
May I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public for questions on the computer bill resolutions only. Close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
413, Bill Resolution Manual 2023.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,909,095.99.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on the manual bill resolutions only. Close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes. We are now on to our ordinance on first reading. There is no public hearing on first reading. Madam Clerk.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code in Section 288-52 to add locations for the Police Department to enforce motor vehicle regulations on private property.
Thank you. Councilman Ambrosino.
Thank you, Council President. Most statutes that pertain to motor vehicle laws and the Motor Vehicle Commission are in Title 39 of the New Jersey State's Annotated. When a property owner located outside of a public right-of-way wants to enforce the provisions of Title 39, an application is made to the Township to include the property in the Township Code Section 288-52, Schedule 22. This effectively gives the police the ability to enforce motor vehicle rules and regulations on that private property. This ordinance lists various locations where property owners have applied to the Township for inclusion in our private property enforcement areas. These sites have all already been inspected by the Division of Engineering to ensure that traffic signs and markings are properly installed in accordance with the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. While the police will have the ability to enforce motor vehicle regulations, the Township will have no liability or obligation with respect to the site maintenance. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I please have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes. Now moving on to ordinance on second reading.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of the township land known as Block 842, Lot 14, 1401, and 15, located at 1707 Route 88.
Very good. Mayor?
Thank you. The Township Council's Land Use Committee is recommending this ordinance, which conveys Block 842, Lot 14, which is a .5-acre irregularly shaped lot at 1707 Route 88 West, to Homes Now, Inc., to develop an 8-unit apartment project for affordable housing for our veterans. This will be a rental property that requires income-qualified residents and would be managed by Homes Now, Inc. The apartments are proposed to be 1- and 2-bedroom units, and as someone who is very supportive of the veterans, as is our council, I'm excited to be able to read this ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Close council. Open to public on this ordinance. Yes.
Gotta move closer.
John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. Just a question on this. I know we just preserve property in order to make sure Brick doesn't get overcrowded, Now we're selling property, and I understand the reason why, whether it's for the veterans or seniors or whoever it happens to be, but what is our real goal in the future? To try to preserve as much property or go case by case? How are we going to handle that? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Administration. My name is Charlie Bacon, 366 Rancocas Drive. I have a couple questions about that. Overall, it's a great thing. Obviously, we will support our veterans and low income. And the first one is we make a reference in this ordinance about a sale. And my understanding of a sale is there's an exchange of a commodity, in this case a property, for money. So I'm not sure the use of the word, or maybe you can kind of go through that with me. Greatly appreciate it. Mayor, twice now I've heard the word veterans on this ordinance, and I heard it the first time last week. But I don't see in the ordinance the reference of veterans for this low-income housing. So is it specifically for low-income individuals or low-income that are veterans? That's one of my questions. This property is a half acre, as you alluded to, and it's actually referenced on the record. What is the value of the property? Does anyone know? We also use the word conveyance. And conveyance to me means we're going to transfer something to Homes Now. Is the conveyance of this, when this gets approved tonight on a second ordinance, or is it conditioned on the conditions met here on the sale of the property, which I have some questions about that. That's another question I have. The other thing, I saw language in here of right of first refusal. Is that normal language where we're going to do something with Homes Now or other organizations similar to Homes Now? It's a very interesting comment to me, not being a lawyer, but it seems like Homes Now could go through a tremendous amount of effort and present something to the town that it sounds like the township could say we're going to have a right of first refusal on that. Other language used, and excuse my ignorance with the law, we have a reference of maximum allowed restricted sale at price at a time. I'm not quite sure what that means, or if it's defined. What is that? What is the maximum sale on that? We also determined in Section 3, we said determine. The township determined we want to work with Homes Now. What was the criteria used to determine that? Do we look at the financials, the executive director, the assistant director, the board of trustees, or whatever structure they have in place here? And another question I had is, did we approach Homes Now, or did they approach the township? And if so, when did they first do this? We talk about a control period for 2 years. How did we land on 2 years, not 30 months? There's some other criteria. I'm kind of curious about that as well. And again, I'm a layperson, I'm not a lawyer. This seems to be a pretty complicated ordinance to me, and why wouldn't we just go into something like a memorandum of agreement and simplify this and allow them on good faith to exercise certain things, and if they perform those certain things for the township, then we move forward with them on this great thing. So that, and then the last one I had was, there's conditions that have to be met for the approval for Homes Now. Do they have to go in front of the boards and do, set a series of plans, go through the proper protocols of that? Or is there a different level of approval so that the township says, okay, we're going to move forward with that? And I know we have a lot of regulations in front of our boards and things that have to be satisfied. Because my concern there is if they go through the process of trying to acquire this from the township and do something that I think is a very worthy project, if they have a cost borne on them to go through that approval process, is that going to be addressed if the township decides to, pull back on this, on the right of first refusal? So that was just a couple of questions I have. I support this. I think it's a good ordinance, obviously, but I just look at some of these things here, and I had a few questions.
Mr. Keneally?
Sure. If I can address, I'm not sure I can address all your comments, but I'll try and do as many.
I appreciate whatever you can.
It's being done by ordinance because that's the state statute requires us when we convey land. There's a number of steps or processes we can follow when the township decides we have a piece of property we no longer need.
Got it.
We can sell it at public auction to the highest bidder, which is not what we're doing here, or we can sell it for specific reasons, such as for constructing affordable housing. That is a specific process in state law that allows us to make a sale for, in this case, nominal consideration. So the sale will be for $1, but it is a sale for $1
Got it.
To a nonprofit that is in the business of constructing and managing affordable housing sites. Sitting over top of this whole thing is our obligations under New Jersey Supreme Court rulings under the Mount Laurel cases and the Council on Affordable Housing. Brick has very specific obligations to provide and maintain affordable housing within Brick for low and moderate income individuals. We can accomplish that a number of ways. We can allow builders to build their own, and there are cases where that happens.
Right.
We can require builders to set aside a certain percentage, and Brick has, over the years, done a number of our own projects with Homes Now or other similar type agencies to construct things. Similar, Chambers Bridge Residence down the street, I think, is 180 units. That was Brick-owned property.
Right.
We conveyed it to, actually, Homes Now, I think, was involved in that, to develop with Lutheran Ministries 189 units of affordable housing for our seniors. We constructed the Bancroft site on Route 70. There's 2 buildings there. Those are for developmentally disabled, and I'm not sure what the second one is. Again, affordable housing for a specific criteria of individuals in order to satisfy the town's COA obligations. This is a project of a property in town. The town acquired it by tax foreclosure about a dozen years ago, so we acquired it for the cost of legal fees. The property taxes had been unpaid. It is a lot that sits on Route 88, sort of in a commercial zone across from Home Depot. The township planners thought it would be an appropriate place to put something like a small apartment, which this is, 8 units. Fits in well with transportation, busing, all those things. The hospital is basically, the hospital zone is across the street.
Right.
So it was an appropriate use of this site, not really suitable for other purposes. The property, in terms of the conveyance to Homes Now has been a partner with the town in managing our affordable housing obligations.
Right.
Originally, Carol Wolf was the executive director and has a long history of actively being involved in the township's affordable housing obligations, as well as other towns. They are a trusted partner of the town in that regard. This ordinance allows us to convey that property to them. It's not going to transfer until they go through the board process. They want us to adopt this ordinance before they go through the costs of doing that, but they're willing to undertake those costs to start the process, go to the planning board, get approval. If and when that's done, which might take some time, the town will convey the property to them for nominal consideration. It's also important for our co-reporting requirements that we take this step now and show that we have indicated this property is going to be used for that purpose. The right of first refusal and the restriction, this property is going to have a 50-year deed restriction on it.
Right.
It says it can only be used for lower moderate income people that qualify under the income guidelines of COA. The right of first refusal and the language about an option are essentially that if during that 50 years Homes Now decides they are no longer in this business. And we had an issue with the Chambers Bridge residents a few years ago where the operator of that property said they didn't want to operate it anymore, and they wanted to transfer to another operator. We want to have the ability to say, maybe we want to choose who that operator is. So we have a right of first refusal. If Homes Now were to approach us and say, I want to sell the property to someone else, the town has the right to say, no, we have to...
So you're looking at more past the control period?
No, that was during the control period. If during the 50 years they decide they no longer want to manage this property,
right,
and they want to sell it to another property management company, the right of first refusal would give Brick the opportunity to say, no, we would rather step into that role, or we would rather choose who that party is. That's all. That's all. It's to give us that control of deciding who is managing the property.
All right, I thought it was more inside the control period window of the 2 years.
No,
which is referenced.
no.
Got it. Okay.
It's while it's being owned for 50 years, if they decide they don't want to do it anymore,
Yep,
we have the right to step back in.
sure, it makes
And
sense.
at the end of 50 years, that language about the option is, we would have the option at the end of 50 years to buy it back at a value that is based upon, under the COA regs, a fair market value determined as if it's deed-restricted affordable housing, which would be lower than fair market value.
Sure. No, I appreciate the going through that, the extended time. And the last thing, Mayor, you referenced veterans. Should that be part of this ordinance before it's...
Affordable housing is not allowed to be restricted to one set person,
Okay.
one set type of people.
So you have to leave the word
Affordable
veterans
housing,
out.
It is veteran preference. That's it.
Got it. Okay. Well, thanks for the extended time. Have a good rest of the evening. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none, close public roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilman Ambrosino.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Zapsik.
Yes.
President DeYoung.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Open up to public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Very good. Who's up first? What'd you do?
I could tell you the lie I tell the kids, that some guy was beating up on a couple of young, and I stepped in and actually had a couple shots in my finger, and they had to lock it together. So it's like a nothing thing, but it looks like I, flew through a window or something. I said, this should happen all the time. I get a lot of comments like yours. Okay, let me read my letter. July 7th. Dear Mayor Crate, Council President Heather DeYoung, all Brick councilmen, councilwomen, residents, and workers in Brick. Various studies brought before the council show proof that the ill effects of those tiny particulates being sent through the airs to our lungs from the Garden State Parkway will cause bedridden lives and premature deaths of many of our seniors. Studies of air pollution have proven that the toxins from high-volume traffic areas harm our citizens. The New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners have left a legacy of autism, asthma, COPD, lung and mouth cancer, heart attacks, and premature deaths in our area. Our neighbors and even our relatives and friends of those poor people that are afflicted with autism, asthma, COPD, lung cancer, emphysema, etc., have been in pain every day themselves. 14 to 20-foot walls, pollution, noise, and safety walls along the Garden State Parkway are needed in Evergreen Woods, Primrose Garden, Greenbrier, Birchwood, Brick Briar Mill, Brick High School, Town Hall, and other areas in Brick and Ocean County. Large trees and thick, dense brush that was destroyed by the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners on the Garden State Parkway should be replanted for the health of all Brick Township residents and Ocean County residents. The National Library of Medicine and Nurses magazines state that residential proximity to a major roadway is associated with features of asthma control in children. Closer residential proximity to a major roadway is associated with increased respiratory symptoms, altered pulmonary functions, and greater magnitude of airway and systemic inflammation. To save the people of Brick and Ocean County in areas such as Evergreen Woods, Greenbrier, Brick High School, Town Hall, Birchwood, and other areas, action needs to be taken. We must save the health of our seniors. Another question that people have been asking in Northern Brick, Bernie Cook Park draws many, many young residents, which is good. They come by bike, skateboard, and walk. But the question arises whether the sidewalk system is adequate on Burnt Tavern Road. Heading north of the park, there's a complete sidewalk system that, if you're heading up that way, you could see it. But Burnt Tavern Road, there are sidewalk systems in place, but they're spotty. They have some open areas. So it forced walkers, bikers, and skateboarders to the streets, and a lot of cars are passing by. So walkers can get on the grass, but for others this is difficult. A couple of areas near traffic safety barriers also, which are those little aluminum, steel, whatever they are, that go over local areas. They have large overgrowths of vegetation, which also force the walkers into the streets in large volume traffic areas. I do not know if this is the problem of the property owners, town or county responsibility, but something should be done. I was going to say thanks for my time, but I got another half a second. Board of Education meeting Thursday for whoever wants to show up. It's over just off Van Zyl Road a little bit. It's not that hard. It takes forever. It's not a short meeting like you guys have, but it's well worth going once in a while. Thanks for your time. John Flip, I yield back a minute 20.
And Burnt Tavern Road is a county road, so what will happen?
Yeah. You could
we'll
talk to somebody then. That's why I said, I don't care whose
Yeah.
reason it is.
That's a county thing. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes? No, you just raise your hand. That's okay. Come on up. All good. Welcome. My name's Erin Reynolds. I live at 551 Mark Drive. This is my neighbor Angela DiGiovanni. Yeah, DiGiovanni. 550 Susan Drive. Okay. We're here tonight to let our council, our elected members know what's been going on in our quiet little neighborhood. We have a house that wouldn't sell, and we noticed around Memorial Day we had neighbors coming in. Well, to jump ahead, we found out through our own research that it's being rented on short-term basis as an Airbnb. Mr. Powner has been awesome. Officer Finelli is on it. I think the mayor, I think you're aware now. But we wanted to make our elected officials know as well. The house is owned by an LLC out of Lakewood. Officer Finelli was out today and talked to Angela. But it's every weekend. The cars pull in and short-term weekend rentals, 12 people. Yep. Noise. 556 Mark Drive. I have the ads. I don't know if you're interested in seeing it. You just go into Airbnb and put Mark Drive and the house pops up. It rents for $1,000 a night currently. So you know it's not one family, it's multiple families going in. It's a beautiful piece of property. And as I said, we want to thank our code enforcer. I emailed him on a Saturday when we first realized what was going on. Was hoping for an answer on Monday or Tuesday. He answered me Saturday and said, I'm on it, we'll look into it. We know that there's penalties. There's some code, already been cited. But our question, too, is, will the fees just pile up and nothing get done? As I said, I know so far everyone's been great about it. But we do have concerns. It's a quiet, peaceful little neighborhood, and it's sad.
It's scary having strangers, and 4th of July weekend, we had to call the police Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
They were out there every weekend. Yeah.
Right, no, we know.
And we're appreciative to that.
From a code enforcement perspective, we issued the penalty. If they take the listing down and there's no activity at the house, we don't really go after the financial penalty. Some people don't realize about the ordinance and they make a mistake. If they continue to post and have parties and police have to respond, it is $2,000 a day. Ultimately, up to the municipal court judge to decide in code court, which is only held once a month. But it's the behavior in response to the violation that determines how much they'll be fined.
And they did tell us that they were supposed to take the ads down by July 18th, and if not, the violations would start July 19th.
Yes. $2,000 a day, up to $2,000 a day, and that's what our construction official will go after for someone who does not comply with the codes.
Because it's scary having strangers,
And the cars come in, like I said, it's not just one family renting it, it's multiple. So all the cars pull in and, and the police say to call them and let them know, but they're busy. There's other priorities other than this, but we do appreciate when they come out and
they've been helpful.
Yeah. So, as I said, we just wanted to let you guys all know so that everyone's aware of it, and we hope that it gets shut down quite free. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
Hi. Oh, okay. My name is Jane Schoonfield, and I live on Bella Vista. Jane Schoonfield, I live on Bella Vista Road. And actually, this is kind of a happy thing, not a sad thing. I was in Ireland just recently for about 3 weeks, and I was amazed at what they have there for a safety program, and I wanted to bring it back and share it with you to see if maybe we could do something about this in Brick. There's a lot of people riding bicycles, et cetera, on 70 and to and from restaurants and all that stuff. These are called high-visibility vests, and they're very inexpensive and very lightweight, and everybody wears them, from little tiny kids to old people. They come in all sizes, from itty-bitty to huge, and they just go on top of you like this, and you ride your bicycle and everybody can see you, and it's amazing. So I did buy this one and this one in Ireland to bring back in case you're interested. Some of the restaurants and pubs over there buy them and put their advertising on the back of them and give them to their employees. I just thought this was an interesting thing. So, okay, so I have them if anybody wants them. Okay.
Thank you.
Whoops, that's done.
Anybody else in public? Seeing none, close to public.
Mrs. Burton.
I have nothing tonight, but thank you.
Thank you. Mayor.
Hi. I have a couple things. So the first thing is I did receive a letter from the State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, the Office of the Commissioner, and I just want to read the first paragraph. I'm pleased to inform you that the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection and Garden State Preservation Trust has approved Brick Township's application for Green Acres matching grant of $1.2 million. And we're talking right now about the visitation property. We're very excited about that and happy that we've received this approval. And a shout out to our boss team who worked very hard to get us to where we are today, and Ms. Bergen and all the people who have dedicated time to make sure that we can preserve that property. I'm very happy to bring this announcement to everyone. So kudos to that team of people and everyone who's worked so hard to preserve that property. Just a couple of things that we've had going on around town. If you missed, on July 4th, Normandy Beach had a flag raising. I believe it was their, does anybody remember who went with me, what year it was? It's like 20, oh, she's pulling it out. She'll get back to me. But they've been doing it for a very long time, and this was my first opportunity. 36th year. So 6 years before I moved here, they started doing this ceremony on 4th of July. If you've never had the opportunity to attend, I highly recommend it. It is short on speeches, but high on patriotism, and it was a lot of fun to attend that flag-raising ceremony that celebrates not only our nation's independence, but also our veterans and people who are serving in the military. It's really very nice. I had the opportunity, I was invited before we headed down by the American Legion Riders. I was asked if I wanted to ride along. I said, of course, who would turn that down? So I got to ride on the back of one of the motorcycles that was in the parade that went to the flag-raising ceremony, and it was an absolute delight to be invited and to be there and to witness the ceremony, and I appreciate the invitation, and I know the council members that joined me for that event also really enjoyed it. So kudos to them for continuing the tradition, and next year on the 4th, if you have a little bit of time early in the day, I highly recommend stopping by. If you didn't have a chance to go to our first Summerfest, that was last Thursday, we had a fantastic band, Super Trans Am, fantastic weather. The clouds rolled in just in time for some relief from the heat, and we were able to really enjoy 2 hours straight of Super Trans Am playing, and they were awesome enough to also include a last-minute request while I was on stage. You know, you just ask a question, and they said sure, and so they added an extra song at the end of the performance that was a lot of fun, and then we got to enjoy fireworks also that evening. The wind and weather cooperated for a great fireworks show. I do want to thank for the entire month of July going forward for all of our Summerfest, our Parks Department, Recreation Department, Police, Fire, EMS, our DPW, and our CERT team that come out to assist during that time. It takes a lot of hands working together to pull off our Summerfests each week, and I'm eternally grateful to them, and I know that the crowd that we had last week was one of the largest ever. It was estimated it was over 10,000 people, and the fact that you can have that many people at Traders Cove, wrong park, at Windward Beach, and with no issues. All I saw throughout the evening were families getting along, enjoying each other. It's like a family reunion every week. You get to hang out with your neighbors. So if you haven't had a chance to attend yet, we still have 3 more shows coming up. This week we have on Thursday the Amish Outlaws, which are very popular, so head on down. And then we also have coming up, I wrote it down because I knew I would forget. How did I write this down? Jesse's Girl and Garden State Radio. Sorry, I wrote it down. I don't know where I wrote it down. So come on down to Windward on Thursday evenings. We'd love to have you. Food, fun, festivities, music, and fireworks. So you can't beat it. And it's all free. So head on down. Another thing that I had the opportunity to do this week is I was invited to Ocean Medical Center. They have some new directors over there that are very excited to work with our community. So they gave us a little tour. We had the opportunity to talk about some of the great things that the hospital, our local hospital, has to offer. We're very lucky to have a university medical center here, right here in our town, and they are very willing to work with us. So if you have a community group or you own a business where you would like them to come out and help with some health services, I know they're looking to partner with us in any way that they possibly can, and we are lucky to have them here. So please reach out to the hospital, and I'm sure in their community relations department, someone would be happy to work with you to set something up for your community for them to come out and work with the people who live in your neighborhoods or in your senior communities. I had the opportunity with Council President DeYoung and Councilman Minikino to visit Wedgwood Place last night for a Q&A with people that live in that neighborhood. It was a lot of fun. We were there for about an hour. I found out afterwards that it was scheduled during Jeopardy. I won't do that again. But I didn't make the 7 o'clock call. But it was really nice meeting with the residents of Wedgwood. We had a great time. Good conversation, lots of questions, and that gives us the opportunity as mayor and council to really have a one-on-one conversation with people who live in the community who have questions that we can then get back to them with answers. So I look forward to reaching back out to that community with some of the answers to questions that they had last night, and I was very happy to attend. So if you have a group that would like mayor and council to come and visit, if you'd like us to talk about things going on in town, or you'd like to ask questions about things that you are wondering about, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'd be happy to set something up, not during Jeopardy hour. So just be aware. Also, I was told not during pool time. You don't want to go while people want to hang out at the pool. So whatever works for you. We have a pretty open schedule. And 2 more things. Today, if you did not have the opportunity to do so, but I will say there were hundreds of people that did join, the Brick Garden Club had their 20th annual Secret Gardens tour today, and I had the great pleasure of traveling around town to gardens, homeowners that have put together gardens that are absolutely spectacular. And it was an opportunity for me not only to visit those homes and those gardens, but also to get ideas for my own garden, because I do love to garden myself. And before and afterwards, actually throughout the day, the Brick Garden Club was set up at Havens Homestead. There were vendors there that I had the opportunity to shop with. I was very excited about that. They also had a little gift auction, so I won some great gifts. I was very excited about that. There were tons of winners, tons of prizes. If you have not had the opportunity to go on the Secret Garden Tour, I highly recommend it. They do it once a year. It is their big fundraiser for the year, and it helps them to work to help beautify Brick throughout the rest of the year. So next year, this time, make sure you mark your calendars. It's always the second week of July. I'm pretty sure it's always a Tuesday, so you can mark your calendars early for next year. And if you have a garden that you feel is beautiful and worthy of having other people in town visit, please let them know. They'll be going out over the next couple of weeks to visit gardens so that they can pick the gardens for next year. So keep that in mind as well. And then the last thing that I want to mention is my great conversations have continued. I had the honor of interviewing Marilyn Lago. All of a sudden, I'm like drawing a blank on names. Yes, Lago. Yes, she's sitting right here. She is the director of the Visitation Lunch Program that takes place the third Thursday of each month. And I believe the Crate Conversation is out, but if it isn't, watch for it. There's a lot of really great information. And once again, I've interviewed someone else in town where prior to becoming mayor, I had no idea that this program existed, but once I found out, I was super excited about it, and I'm hoping that you get a chance to watch. And I will tell you that the next luncheon is next Thursday at Visitation Church, so if you are interested in going, it is open to the public, and we'd love to have you. And I will be there, and I plan on doing some serving, so please stop by. I'm excited to participate. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to let the community know that this service is available. So I think that's all I have for tonight. Thank you very much. And I pass it on.
Thank you. Mr. Keneally.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Madam Clerk.
I have nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Murphy.
No, thanks.
Councilman Albanese.
Nothing at this time.
Councilwoman Pontorero.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to thank Mr. I'm so sorry, your last name, Bacon, Charlie Bacon, for his questions tonight about an ordinance that is so woefully needed and deserved in our town. As our council explained, we're under obligations pursuant to law to provide a certain number of affordable housing. By giving this irregular-shaped piece of property and earmarking it as preferred veterans, it gives us the only ability we have to make sure that our men and women who serve are able to stay in Brick and afford to live, be close to the hospital, take advantage of the meals and nutrition services that we offer. We provide transportation to and from every day. So I am so excited, and I just wanted to clarify for everyone that may be watching this, that this is something we are obligated to do anyway. You may recall a few years ago, we had a situation where it was in question of whether we had enough affordable housing. Thankfully, Mayor Ducey made it very clear upon two challenges, I believe, that we did. But that's not to say that things don't change. So of all people who deserve our protection, our veterans willing to serve and coming back absolutely will benefit in some way, shape, or form from not only this program, but knowing that their community is looking out for them. Secondly, I wanted to thank the two beautiful young women who came up and spoke to us about the ordinance for B&Bs. Even though you're having issues with how it's going for your neighbor, it makes me so elated because when we went to put that ordinance through, some of you may recall we encountered flack for wanting to make those restrictions. But hearing the words from these two women reminded me, and I'm sure all of us, of why we thought it was important to create restrictions. We in Brick value our quiet peace and enjoyment, and everyone is entitled to it. So I'm very, very happy that you brought the issue to our attention because it cements in my mind we did the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Councilwoman Pontorero. As usual, our wonderful mayor has done a very comprehensive job of highlighting all of the fantastic things that we're doing in town to build community. I just want to give one more shameless plug for Summerfest. I was there last Thursday. It was a fantastic evening, a fantastic band, a fantastic crowd, and I am fingers crossed, hoping that we get 3 more rainless Thursdays
You just
in the
jinxed
month of
us.
July.
You just jinxed us.
And that's it for me. Thank you.
Councilwoman Travers.
I would also, I just wanted to congratulate one more time our Eagle Scouts. We have Jack Christus and Henry Brigaki for their accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President Sapsik.
That's about it. I too was going to congratulate Jack and Henry. It's really very uplifting to see 2 dedicated young men service to the community and the projects that they've provided. So thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I just want to echo the sentiments. I want to thank our township employees for all they do during Summerfest. It is not an easy feat that we ask them to do, and they do it every year, every week in July, and they do a great job. So thank you to our employees. Our next scheduled council meeting is July 25th at 7 p.m. Can I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.